Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Like Goddess. Welcome back to my corner where I inspire others to dream more, live more, and become more. If this is your first time clicking on this video, welcome to my corner. We are a vibe over here, but remember, do not subscribe unless you feel in the vibe, okay? Because we don't need no ghost followers over here. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about how to survive a long distance relationship. So this is for my girls or my guys who are in a long distance relationship, or maybe you are considering being in a long distance relationship, but you don't really know like what to do. You don't know how to go about it. So I'm just gonna be giving you guys some advice and tips on how I survived my long distance relationship and exactly how you can do the same thing. So without too much blabber, we just gonna get right into the video. So in Life with Lock fashion, I have our drink for this chit chat. This is basically just water with ice cubes and frozen fruit. It's just what I expected and better. All right guys, so just to give y'all a little bit of a backstory, so to speak. So my partner and I, we didn't meet in person. We actually met basically through a friend, but it was like all virtual, you know, like video, WhatsApp, and all that good stuff. So yeah, so here we are almost 5 years later, thriving. And yeah, so I felt like this video would be very helpful because I know that I have a lot of my girls who are dating online, especially like, you know, African men in different countries. But even if you're not dating an African guy, this video is for you. Even if you are in the States, let's say you live in, I don't know, California, and your dude lives in New York or something like that, this video is gonna be for you. So the first and most obvious thing that I'm sure you guys are gonna be like, duh, but the first tip is trust. Like, you guys have to trust each other, and it has to come from both ways. Like, not just on one side, or you trust him more than he trusts you. It legitimately has to be y'all meeting in the middle when it comes to trust. Reason being is because y'all do not have the luxury of what, you know, like a traditional relationship is, right? Like, y'all don't get to see each other on a regular basis, so you don't really, like, you kind of have that barrier of distance. So if he say he going somewhere, you got to trust that that's where he's going. If she say that she is going to work and coming home, or if she got caught up at work, you have to trust that that person is telling the truth, because it's really like one of the biggest pillars of any successful relationship, not even just long distance, but the difference when it comes to y'all being super far apart is that you don't really have that physical evidence. You're not really gonna always have that physical reassurance because you guys are gonna be hundreds or thousands of miles apart from each other. So that trust has to come from both ways. So if you screw up once and you're in a long distance relationship, that legitimately can set the tone for the rest of your relationship. So you wanna make sure that your partner feels 100% confident in knowing that, like, yeah, she's thousands of miles away, but I know I got her. Or he's thousands of miles away, but I know and I trust that he's not gonna do nothing crazy, you know? So I would say think smart, you know, because temptation is real, okay? Like, we got some beautiful guys and ladies out here who are in these long distance relationships. So, you know, your partner is not attracted to you for no reason. Like, obviously there are multiple people in this world who look at you the same way they might look at you. Like, although this would feel good in the moment, this is not gonna ultimately help my relationship from a bigger picture. So I am not gonna make that mistake. So trust, more than anything, I had to start the video off with that. You have to have trust. But I feel like number two low-key really could be number one. But the number two thing to surviving a long distance relationship is you have to have tough skin. Girl, especially if you're in a long distance relationship with the guy who's like overseas, in particular like in an African country. If you've been around my channel for a while, then you guys know that I've talked a lot about long distance relationships and dating Nigerian men online, or just dating African men in general. Baby, you're gonna have your stereotypes, especially if you're American, because unfortunately we have had a lot of people get taken advantage of from people in other countries, right? So you want to make sure that you have tough skin, because there are gonna be some people, some little birds and little mosquitoes in your ear who have either tried a long distance relationship and they failed at it, or they've never even been in a long distance relationship, and so they're gonna just assume that it's just the worst thing in the world. Y'all not gonna make it. You're gonna end up finding somebody, or they're gonna be asking you like, girl, why not just find somebody here? Why not just date somebody in the US? Like, I just feel like love is love. So whether you find that in the US, whether you find that in China, whether you find that in Ghana, wherever you find that love, that's where it's gonna grow. And you cannot allow people to get into your head to make you think otherwise, because let me tell y'all, misery loves company, okay? Misery loves company. So you want to make sure that the people that are in your ear are those who are going to be encouraging you, even if that means like you hearing something that you don't always want to hear, because it's really hard, right, to hear about some of the things that we don't really want to listen to, or advice about ourselves and things like that. But if you have people who are in your ear that are pushing you, and we'll get more into that later, don't let these naysayers get into your head, okay? Because they're going to be the reason why you lose faith in your relationship, and they're going to make you think that it's not possible to make it happen. Another thing about having tough skin is like specifically in relation to an American dating an African guy. What I can say is, whew, I caught all kinds of shade, okay? Like dating my partner overseas, listen. Oh God, like listen, without even saying it, like y'all know, like when you can just sense a person's energy and you can just tell, you know, you tell them that you dating a Nigerian overseas or somebody from another country, they look at you like, and in their head, they're already thinking, okay, he probably using her for a green card, or you know, he's just using her to get money out of her or something like that. So you gotta have tough skin, sis, because people gonna try it. They gonna disrespect you. They gonna have all this ignorant stuff to say about you dating. People have their like negative stereotypes about like African countries, for example, like, oh, what if you go over there and get kidnapped? Or, oh my gosh, what if he is trying to use your organs for sex trafficking, or just something weird? Like, so you really got to have tough skin, because at the end of the day, yes, these people might have your best interests at heart, but if you allow them to get into your head too much, you'll end up losing faith in your relationship, and it ain't gonna never work. So make sure that you got some tough skin going into it. Know that the people who are saying some of these things that may come off as negative, they don't always mean bad, but it's just that they don't know any better, or maybe they've never been exposed to a successful long distance relationship, so they're going to automatically assume and try to put those things onto you. So you have to have tough skin, and you have to be confident in knowing that, okay, this is what I really want, and focus on that end goal. Because if not, people gonna get in your head, and then it's like, you know, in your heart, like when it's the right decision, when you've prayed about it, if you're a spiritual person, you know when it's the right decision. So it's like, even though you have some people who are in your ear telling you, oh, this might not work, this might not work, if you prayed about that thing and you prayed about that relationship, and you know for a fact in your heart that this is the right thing, you don't have no reservations, there are no red flags, nothing like that, then stick with that, because you're not going to always have 100% support from everybody. So the number 3 thing is you have to believe that it can actually happen, okay? Now I know a lot of times in a long distance relationship, it can really feel like, oh my goodness, the days are going by so slow. Is this actually worth it? What are we even doing? Or if you're too heavily focused on the fact that we're apart, like nothing good is gonna come out of you waking up every day focusing on the fact that, oh my God, I'm still apart from him, or I'm still apart from her. You're not gonna get nowhere with that mindset, honestly. So you have to have belief in your heart that like, this is a temporary situation, and me and him or me and her will eventually be together, okay? So I would say that comes from both partners. Like if you have one person who's constantly being negative, like, well, what if this doesn't work, and what if this, and what if that, and blah, blah, blah. Now don't get me wrong, you're gonna have your days, and some days are gonna be easier than others. Like some days you're gonna wake up and really be like, is this worth it? Like, child, Demetrius been up in my DMs for the last 6 months. Like, it's giving. Give Demetrius a chance and get rid of this long distance relationship. And listen, sis, that's your prerogative. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's on you. However, if you genuinely have faith and you believe that your relationship is going to work out, you have to think past the distance. You have to think about the end goal. Like, okay, I know that this is going to be worth it in the end. So if this is a person who has never given you a reason to not trust them or to not believe in their relationship, I'm gonna always tell you to go after your heart, sis, and go with your heart, follow your heart. Is it gonna take some time? Possibly, because obviously you can't just get up and move to their city, or they can't come and move to your country or something like that. Obviously that's something that's gonna take time, but you honestly, at the core of it all, you both have to believe that it can work, and I promise you, you will get through it. So the next thing, and this might be a little obvious, but I just felt like I really wanted to mention it, but the number 4 thing is to visit each other, okay? Like, duh, that kind of goes without saying. Like, take the time to visit each other. Like, y'all both, you know, make a budget, set a date, buy your plane ticket, and really make that in-person visit happen. If you're in a long distance relationship where y'all met online for the first time, then I would say meeting in person is probably even more important than anything else, to be honest, because you got to be able to put the stamp of approval. Like when you meet this person for the first time, you want to be able to make sure that this is the person that you can genuinely see yourself with. So, and I know some some people might say that, like, you know, oh, the emotional connection matters more than anything. That's not really true, because y'all, I have legit been in groups with women who have said that when they finally got to meet their spouse in person, that they used to like dig in their nose and burp and fart and just, listen, like just real trashy. It's like, why would I even want to lay with you? Why would I want to kiss you in your mouth and you digging in your nose and you like biting your fingernails off? Like all of that stuff, that's just really gross. It's giving gross. It's giving germs. It's giving don't touch me. Meeting in person for the first time, especially if y'all have never met before, is very, very important. Like you gotta make sure that, okay, does this person have just an aura about them that I can actually be around? How does this person interact with other people? If we go to a restaurant, are they respectful? Do they know how to speak to people? Or are they snapping at the waiter or snapping at the waitress as if they're like a slave or something like that? Like, what are their mannerisms? Will they open the door for you? Will they, you know, just all the traditional things that you wouldn't really, you know, be able to gauge if you guys are in a long distance relationship. So some of these things that I listed, you'll be able to gauge those right away if it's in person, right? Because you could be around a person for a week and kind of have an idea of what their habits and stuff are. But if you're long distance, you have no idea how this person is, aside from when you guys are on video or, you know, whatever like that together. So visiting each other is super important, also because it just really helps fill in those gaps. Like y'all, long distance relationship is very lonely. Now you can read between the lines with that one, but it's very lonely. So when y'all finally do get that chance to just be around each other, I feel like it kind of just also helps to sustain their relationship, because you feel like, okay, I'm seeing you, you're here, you're in the flesh. Like, I know that this relationship can work. You know, if y'all have been dating each other for 2, 3, 4, 5, child, y'all be seeing those catfish episodes when people be like dating online for like 7 or 8 years and they ain't never met in person. I just be like, how, Sway? How are you able to do that? Because as for me and mine, baby, I can't do that. Like, definitely do your best to find the time, you know, budget, get your time together, take off work, do whatever you gotta do to make this relationship a priority and try to see this person in person. That's really the only way y'all really gonna really sustain and make it work. And last but not least, my 5th tip to surviving a long distance relationship is to be creative, okay? You do not have the luxury of seeing your partner in person like a traditional in-person relationship is, right? So, you know, send them love letters or surprise them with like, you know, packages, or send them money just because. Little things like that. Maybe pay for them to have like lunch for the day, pay for them to go to a spa, or if it's their birthday, you know, send them like a sweet gift, send them edible arrangements, send them flowers, different things like that. And then vice versa, right? Like, you know, because I feel like a lot of times as women, we kind of have the assumption that the guy is supposed to do all those things for us, but then we don't do the same thing in return. I personally believe in it being both ways, okay? So if it's, you know, if it's Valentine's Day or if it's your boo's birthday or something like that, and you want to do something really sweet for him, again, you can write him a love letter, you can write him a poem. Like, now that might sound kind of cheesy. Some people might be looking at that like, girl, who does that? It's 2022. But listen, again, you have to get creative, okay? So one night where y'all maybe want to watch a movie together, you guys can both, you know, go to Netflix and basically turn on the show and watch it at the same time. Or even if y'all are not actually like on live video, y'all can both be watching like, you know, the same series at the same time so that y'all can talk about it. Like, you have to get fun and creative when it comes to a long distance relationship, because if I'm being honest, I feel like it can get kind of boring, it can get kind of draining, and there are going to be some days where you're just not motivated to sustain the relationship. So y'all have to get creative and like make it fun for each other. Never miss the good morning text, the good afternoon, the good night, the basic stuff. Like, have good communication skills with each other, right? Like, don't just make it all on one person. Like, don't just assume that only one person has to have these skills. Like, again, it has to come from both ends, okay? So hopefully this video wasn't too short, and hopefully you guys got an idea of what it's like to survive a long distance relationship. So hopefully at the end of this video, you feel a little more encouraged in your own long distance relationship. So if I missed anything, y'all let me know, and also stay tuned because we're gonna be doing a part 2, okay? So if you made it to the end of this one, shortly after, part 2 is gonna be up, and I'm gonna be giving you guys 5 more tips to surviving a long distance relationship. So with that, I will see you guys in part 2. Bye guys.